Members of the audience, citizens of San Bernardino watching at home, my name is David McKenna and I am a candidate for the office of City Attorney. This office has been occupied for the past 24 years by Mr. James Penman. In that time, before I continue, I want to say I love you guys to my daughters and 6 grandchildren who are watching on streaming video. We are at a critical crossroads in our city's future. You can choose to re-elect Mr. Penman, who has put his own political agenda against his legal and professional obligations, or you can vote for a proven public servant who has no political agenda and will remain independent of special interests, the unions, or any other entity seeking to gain at the city's expense. What I will do as your city attorney, I will create transparency. Too long has the city attorney been shut away from budgetary and caseload scrutiny. Accountability. The days of the city attorney blaming other city officials for its deficiencies are over. The buck will stop with me. I will not blame the police chief for a red light memo my office created. I will not blame a councilman for being tardy on a Brown Act warning. How will I do this? Create a first-class website where cases being handled are listed and the results are posted. I will use my considerable legal skills as a former judge, trial lawyer, and complex civil evaluator to build a litigation team worthy of this city. I will streamline the city attorney's office using up-to-date technology, which will reduce the need for 5 legal secretaries for 10 attorneys. These are difficult times, require courage and talent to do more with less, and skill to achieve results.
Thank you, Mr. McKenna. Okay, let's move right along. We have several questions to ask each of the candidates. They're all very important questions. Question number 1, Mr. McKenna, you'll be going first. The city attorney's office has city attorney investigators. If you are elected to this office, how will you use them over the next 4 years?
Presently, the number of investigators cost the taxpayers in the city over $300,000 per year, and much of what they do are duplicative with the Department of Code Enforcement, our police department, and animal control. In addition, having these armed investigators under an elected official without written guidelines presents the opportunity for abuse of the city's attorney's power. Given the budgetary crisis for the city attorney's office now and the feasibility and foreseeability in the future, these investigators can be deleted without an appreciable harm to the citizens of San Bernardino.
Mr. Penman, your response, please.
When Mr. McKenna was first elected county supervisor, he went about his duties for just a year or two before he announced that he could not live on the salary of a supervisor, $25,000 at the time. So he announced he was going to resign, but first, according to newspaper articles, it was alleged that he made a deal with his fellow supervisors to appoint him public defender for $118,000 a year, a 78% increase in his annual salary. His chief of staff, as part of the deal allegedly, was named as the new supervisor, depriving residents of the right to elect their own supervisor. We don't want that to happen here. If Mr. McKenna is elected and only serves a few years or less and then lets the mayor appoint some other attorney, maybe even his own son, that's not what we need in San Bernardino. That's why you, the voters, defeated Measure C in last year's election. The purpose of defeating Measure C was that so you, the voters, could choose the city attorney and city clerk and city treasurer, not Pat Morris. That's what we need to have. We don't need Mr. McKenna to repeat his performance at the county, not finishing his term and bailing out and making a political deal. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Penman. Mr. McKenna, let me read the question again. How do you perceive the role of the city attorney's office?
I don't recall Mr. Penman answering that question. I may be wrong.
I'll ask the audience again, please.
And before I answer that, Mr. Penman, I think, displayed the type of city attorney he has been in throwing out innuendo allegations as if they're fact. And I think that's tragic for a trained lawyer to summarily literally slander me in public with allegations of inside dealing. It's unbelievable that he would do that without facts. So I just point out that I think that's what we will look forward to should he be reelected. The role of city attorney is clearly set forth in the charter. Briefly said, he or she shall be the chief legal officer of the city. I liken that to being that of a corporate attorney for the entity known as the City of San Bernardino. And that entity includes the mayor, common council, city clerk, treasurer, city manager, department heads such as police chief, fire chief, and other department heads, and of course the citizens at large. The city attorney's values will often create the role of the city attorney. For instance, Mr. Penman has chosen to be a political boss of various city factions, which by its very existence creates divisiveness. You can't be a competent, ethical, trustworthy legal advisor to the city and be a political activist at the same time. They are mutually exclusive. I will, if elected, base my role and values on the ethical principles set forth in the City Attorney section of the League of Cities. I will post these principles clearly on a newly designed website. The core values that I share are: the City Attorney should earn client trust through quality legal advice and the manner in which the City Attorney represents its city interest. And quoting from that preamble, the writers say, "It is difficult for the city attorney to effectively represent the city if public officials do not trust the city attorney's competence and professionalism." And guess what? We've lost several police chiefs exactly because they don't trust Mr. Penman and his professionalism, and we've got to stop that.
Mr. McKenna, given our city's current budget situation, it is the City Council's decision to reduce the City Attorney's budget by hundreds of thousands of dollars. Please share with us your thoughts on that decision.
The City Attorney's Office should not be immune from budget cuts. The District Attorney, County Council, and Public Defender have all absorbed serious budget cuts, as did our police, fire, and the entire city of San Bernardino. I believe the City Attorney has inflated his caseload so as to create this budget crisis. He stated in a recent article that he needs 1 2/3 attorneys to handle a criminal caseload of 3,900 cases, and by my count of his own records, the number is closer to 350. On August 11th of this year, deputies from Mr. Penman's office suffered a 15-minute not guilty decision by a jury after a 3-day trial on a panhandling charge. How can we trust his office to fight more serious crime?